welcome back to my channel, and if you're new here, welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be talking about a really sad topic, and it is the fact that Luna passed away a little over 2 weeks ago for me right now. So I'm just going to be talking through what happened and just about it, and then moving forward what's going to happen. So basically I've talked about this over on my Instagram, but I haven't talked about it on YouTube yet. And basically what happened was, on the 15th of January, I came home from school and everything had been absolutely normal with Luna in the morning. Everything had been normal the day before. And I had this weird feeling that something was going to happen. Like, I remember talking to her literally on the Sunday, and I was literally just like, you can't leave me until like I finished all my exams and stuff, like, you know, to her, which was really weird, like, and I don't really know why I had that feeling, but I just sort of did. But there was no, like, she didn't have any symptoms. She was absolutely fine. She was running around the cage, she was eating her hay, she was eating normally, she was drinking normally, so there was no, like, indication that anything was going to happen. But I came home on the 15th of January from school, and I didn't notice that. I noticed at first she was in her, like, one of the hides, but I just thought she was, like, sleeping, and that wasn't that uncharacteristic. But then I got their veggies a little bit later on, and she didn't come out of the hide at all. She was just still there, and she wasn't coming out, she wasn't moving. So I ended up, you know, taking her out the cage, and I realised that she was really not well. Like, her eyes had sunk into her head. She had quite a runny nose. Like, there was a lot of, like, discharge, and, like, I could tell she was just not well. She was quite lethargic. There was definitely something going on. I thought that she probably just had a URI. So I looked after her for the rest of that evening, and we couldn't take her to the vets because the vets were already closed, and it would have taken like an hour to get to any emergency vets. And I thought, she was really, really cold when I found her, so I'd been warming her up, and she definitely moved around a lot more when I warmed her up, which, like, it had helped a lot. So I didn't want to end up having to take her out and her get cold and it get worse, because I thought, okay, it's a URI, this can be sorted, this is going to be fine. Like, I was very worried, but I was like, this is going to be okay. Like, there's no point taking her out right now, because she's more likely to get cold and more likely to get more ill and things like that, and I didn't want to make things worse. So I looked after her for that evening. I was feeding her. She ate some things herself, but she wasn't, like, hugely into food at the time, so I was, like, hand feeding her and everything like that. She ended up literally lying in my hoodie, like underneath, like the bottom of my hoodie, or like in one of the pockets, like on the front, for most of the evening. And then I ended up setting up a little separate playpen for her. I did try putting her back in the cage to see if that would, like, perk her up, but she just sort of lay there, and I was like, no, I can't leave her in there, like, I just can't do it. So I ended up setting up a separate playpen, and she went in there, and she had hay, she had water, she had some veggies. She'd eaten some, like, food, like some of their dry food that I'd, like, broken up and, like, watered, like, down sort of thing, and made it into some sort of, like, weird solution. She, like, ate some of that, so that was really good. But she wasn't eating those, she wasn't really drinking either. So I did syringe feed her some water as well. But then she didn't really move much overnight. I woke up quite a few times, probably like every 2 hours, every hour and a half, every 2 hours, something like that, to check on her. And I was just expecting her, in a way, to just not be there anymore when I woke up. But luckily she still was when I got up in the morning. And then we had a vet appointment booked for, I think it was, like, actually 2:15 in the end, but they moved it forward to 2 o'clock. And we took her to the vets, and the vet ended up, you know, saying there's evidently some issues. She also pointed out that she had an enlarged abdomen, something Luna has had for a very long time, and she wanted to do an ultrasound and an x-ray to see what was going on. indefinitely to see if there was things that we could sort, if she did have a URI, whether there was other complications going on and what was going on. So we ended up leaving Luna at the vet's for the next couple of hours, and they were supposed to be doing the x-ray and ultrasound between 4 and 5, and then we were hopefully going to pick up at 5 and bring her home. However, they managed to do the x-ray and ultrasound earlier than that, and we got a phone call at about 10 to 4 saying you need to come down because you need to say goodbye to her. She got to the point, they'd done the x-ray and they'd done the ultrasound, and what had happened was she probably did have a URI, she did have some like fluid on her lungs or something as well, but the main issue was she had so many bladder stones in her bladder. It was, I think the vet called it a freak incident when we got there. She was like, it should have ruptured, she should not be here, and somehow it hasn't. And, you know, she's carried on fighting and she's carried on going, and like it was to the point where she, like her bladder was just so full of bladder stones that like there's nothing we could have done about that, and she would have just been in so much pain. She did also have a URI on top of this, but the bladder stones were the thing that ended up being the call for us. Like a URI we could have treated, like if it was ovarian cysts or anything like that, which I had suspected before, but nothing was ever really done about it. But because she didn't have some of the symptoms, like she'd never lost any fur, and like it seemed to sort of change at times. She didn't always seem so bloated, so we didn't think it was ovarian cysts, but you know, there was that as a suspect as well, and it wasn't that, and it did end up being this problem with her bladder. So we had to go down and we had to say goodbye to Luna. I haven't cried about it in a while and I feel like I'm going to go again. But yeah, it was the worst experience of my life. It was honestly just horrible. I remember going in, you know, and going to see her. And like, I can't remember when, I think it was when they took her out. I'm not going to disclose some of like the information because it's quite personal to me, and like there was certain things that I said to her before she went that, you know, I want to keep for myself and I don't want to share that with everyone. But when they took her, because we couldn't be in the room when it happened because they had to do it at the back, out the back, so like we got to say goodbye to her and everything, and they took her out back and did it, and the vet was so amazing about it all. I'll talk about it a bit more in a minute, but when they took her out back to do it, I literally just remember just absolutely breaking down. It was the worst feeling in the world. Like honestly, anyone that's been through it, I feel so sorry for, because it was awful. And like I just remember like holding on to the table sort of thing, and I was with my mum, but like I just felt like I was going to fall over. Like I felt like if I'd let go, like I tried to stand up, I would have just like fallen over. Like my knees would have just gone. Like it was just horrible, and I can't describe that. You can't describe that feeling. It's just awful. She then brought her back. Obviously, she'd wrapped her in the blanket that was in her carrier, and put her in a carrier. We decided not to get her cremated, so she's been buried in a gigantic plant pot that I'm going to put a load of flowers in a little bit, because it's so cold at the moment, nothing's going to really grow properly, so I am going to put some really nice flowers in there. And because she's in like a big plant pot, I can also like take that with me. Yeah, she won't be left behind, she can come with us. I've always been not against euthanasia, but I've always been like, it is such a last resort in my head. It is to the point where like I feel like some people, it's like, well, they know their pet is going to die, so it's like, oh, they need euthanizing, and I'm like, they should fight to the last like point for that pet. And I don't know, like it's not my favourite like thing in the world. Like I'd rather, you know, them to go naturally, but I definitely do think that it is useful for pets that are in pain. And obviously Luna needed to be euthanised because she was in so much pain, and she wasn't eating, she wasn't drinking really at that point, and there was no coming back from that. That was not a fixable problem. There was like no way that could be fixed. Like, I'm not saying it's always the wrong decision, but like some people obviously have pets euthanized because they've been paralyzed and things, but there's so much more like technology nowadays for like paralyzed animals, and like for those reasons I don't think pets should be euthanized. But obviously for pets that at the point where there is no fixing this and they're in pain, then it is the best option, and so therefore that's what we went ahead with. And I want to be completely transparent about it, and the vet that looked at Luna, the vet that looked after her, was absolutely incredible. Honestly, I'm so grateful for her and how she handled it, and that she wanted to find out. So many times you get it where you take a small pet and it's like nothing can be done, and nothing is done, and no one tries to do anything, no one really tries. Like, you might get some things, oh, we'll have a look, you know, we'll put them on like medication and all the rest, but no one actually tries to find out the root causes of problems. But this vet, she really did, and she did absolutely everything for her that she could have possibly done, and I am so grateful for her for that. And again, I do want to be completely honest, the cost for it, I don't know exactly, because when we were paying and stuff, I just went out to the car with Luna and, you know, put her in the car and everything. I wasn't, you know, there when that happened, but it was about £200 for, it was going to be between 150 and 200 for the ultrasound. I think it was it might have been about 100 and 200 for the ultrasound and x-ray, depending on if they did both, and I think they did end up doing both. So they did that, and then obviously there's the euthanasia cost on top of that. So it was probably about £250, and then we had a consultation fee as well, which was £27.50, which we paid earlier on in the day, I think. So that was obviously, you know, that's the reality of owning pets. To be honest, that is quite good in terms of cost. Like, a lot of people I see spending so much more than that. The things that our vets seem pretty good in terms of like cost wise, but those sort of things do happen. The emergency vet the night, if we would have gone to the emergency vet the night before, it would have been like £200 or something just for them to see her. And whilst we would have done that, we could have done that, I didn't feel it was the best for Luna at the time, and they would not have taken as much time and care with her than they did the next day with us. I feel like they might have, if they did like look into it and stuff, they might have just been like, oh yeah, she's got this issue, and just put her to sleep like right there and then, not let us like kind of, I didn't want to go ahead with it at the time because I didn't think that anything was gonna change and stuff, and I'm glad in the end I didn't end up going ahead with it, because I got that last evening with her, she got that last evening with me, and she did perk up and she did seem quite happy up until the end. So, you know, I think I made the right decision in the end. There was nothing that could have been done any sooner anyway, so at the end of the day I think that was the right decision to make. But obviously now the question is, what is going to happen moving forward? Obviously I have my 3 girls at the moment in this cage, and they are doing so well. They're doing a lot better than I thought they would, to be honest. I thought, oh my god, it's actually going to go so wrong. Like, they've lost their leader, they're all going to get into fights and all the rest. They have been so nice with each other. It's amazing. Like, I actually can't believe it, how nice they've been. So Ginny has definitely taken on the role as leader, I think. She definitely seems to be, you know, the new leader of the group, and it is weird. It is very weird there not being 4 pigs in there. Sometimes I'll still look over it and I'll be looking for the 4th one, and she's just not there, and it does feel so wrong, but that's what it is at the moment. I'm not going to get a new pig for a little while. I am so busy at the moment. I have so many exams, I have so much going on that, like, at the moment I just don't have time to do the bonding. But I would like to get another one, and I maybe will, like, in the summer. I'd love to get a little baby pig. I've wanted a little baby pig for a while, to be honest. Like, I was thinking of getting another one before Luna even passed. But I want it to be the right pig for me. I don't want to just be like, I want another one, so I'm going to just get any. Like, it's definitely going to be a rescue pig. I am pretty sure I know which rescue I want to get it from. So I'm looking at their pigs at the moment, but I am going to wait and just see. But I do want a rescue pig, and I do want a baby pig, really, just because I feel like they will bond with my group best, and also because my girls are now 4, Ginny's 4 and the other 2 are 3, so they are, like, they're not old, but they're getting on a bit, so I do want to add a younger pig into the group, because I feel like that would be really good for the rest of them. I feel like it'd bring a little bit of like youth and like energy and stuff into the group, and I think that'll be really good for the rest of them as well, and it won't seem as a threat to any of them because it is like a really young pig. So that, I think, will be what I want going forward, but it won't be for a while. So, like, don't like pester me. Don't be like, when you get a new pig, I don't know when I'm getting a new pig. It could be, like, it could not even happen for like a year, but like, I wouldn't mind getting one in the summer, so in a couple of months' time. But I'm waiting for the right pig. I'm not gonna rush into anything. I just want to look after my girls at the moment, the 3 that I've got, make sure they are all good and everything. They have a massive cage now for the 3 of them. It's 20 square feet, so they have, like, so much room each. It's ridiculous. But I just want to look after them at the moment and just make sure that they're all good. I've got them so much new stuff at the moment, because I'm like, oh, I'll get them something. It's like, because I've got an excuse to. So they're enjoying that at the moment. But I just want to focus on them right now, rather than focus on getting a new pig and all that. And I don't need a replacement. There's 3 of them, they've got each other. I don't need a replacement, and no pig could ever replace Luna. She was so amazing. She was more like a dog, I always say, or a cat. Like, she let me stroke her always, and she would always come over, and she meant the absolute world to me, and no pig could ever replace her. And, like, I am obviously moving forward. I haven't cried up until this video, since, like, probably for a week and a half. No, probably for a week since it happened. But yeah, this video's got me. But overall, that's gonna be what happens moving forward, and that is what happened with Luna. I'll probably still bring her up from time to time, but, like, I'm not gonna constantly go on about it and constantly go on about her, because, like, she would want me to not move on, but to be okay without her. She would want me to carry on. She would want me to get a new pig. She'd want me to look after another one, because I want to do that for her. Like, there's pigs out there that don't have homes as, like, with loads of friends and loads of place to run and eat and all the rest. There's so many pigs that don't have a home, that don't have this space to run, and if I could give another pig that and look after another pig as much as I looked after her, I think that would be what she'd want, and I think that's what you kind of have to do. So that is what I'm going to do, just not yet. I need to focus on other things right now. Like, I've got a lot going on, so I need to focus on that, and then I will get another one, just not yet. Unless I see one that I'm, like, absolutely in love with, and I'm like, I need you. Yeah. But we'll see what happens. At the moment, that isn't going to be what happens. I am waiting till the summer, hopefully. But we'll see. I also need one that isn't born in December, because my 3 girls are born in December, and all their birthdays in one go. So I need one that is born elsewhere, so I can celebrate a piggy's birthday elsewhere, not just December. Yeah, no, I know it's been a very, quite sad video. But otherwise, I hope you guys have maybe not enjoyed this week, but have listened and understood, and thank you for everyone's kind comments that I've got so far. and just messages and everything. It's meant the world to me. Like, some people being like, you know, you gave us such a good life, honestly, brings tears to my eyes every time, but thank you so much, because it does really mean the world to me, because that's all I ever wanted to do for her. But otherwise, I will see you guys next time for another video. Bye!